Hey guys, my name is Alex Vanover. In today's racing series tip, we're going to be talking about slaloms. Now, slaloms are a very interesting topic because there's multiple different types of slaloms. The lengths and the size of the slalom can change, as well as the number of flags. We're going to be giving you guys all the tips and tricks in order to do slalom fast, what you should be thinking about when you're inside the slalom, the speeds you should be entering and exiting at, and hopefully by the end of this video, your slaloms will be faster than the rest of the competition. Alright, so when it comes to doing a slalom, it's very important to enter with not a lot of speed, but it also varies depending on how big the slalom is. There's a few different types of slaloms. There's slaloms where the flags are really close together, and when you have flags that close together, you typically want to slow the quad down more, because what ends up happening is when you hit inside the flags, you usually don't have enough time to roll the quad left and right. Now, at the opposite of that being is when you have a huge slalom where the flags are very much separated, you have to carry a lot more speed through it, you can enter with a little bit more speed. Now, when you're doing a slalom, it's very important to keep your eye on the flags in front of you. So if your flags are faced like this and your quad is right here, you don't want to angle the quad like this or like this where the camera can't see the actual flag it is. With most of the lenses that come on today's cameras, you should, no matter what, if you do the slalom right, be able to keep the flags always in view. Essentially, instead of using a lot of yaw and a lot of roll, when you enter slalom, you want to slow the quad down the first few times you do it, and you want to focus primarily on just using roll with just a little bit of yaw to kind of tilt the nose around the actual flags. The goal being is you want to keep each flag in line. When you go through the slalom, you're going to roll left, roll right, or however direction it is until you actually exit the slalom. This is actually a very fun thing to do. It's one of my favorite racing elements, and there's no better way to actually give you more up close and personal tips than to go outside right now and just do it for you. Alright guys, let's show you some examples of a slalom. Here, as you can see, I have 3 flags set up. As you see, my flags are actually pretty nice. I have a gate set up there. When entering a slalom, no matter what, you want to enter it with not a lot of speed, and you want to try and keep the flags in view. We'll over-exaggerate it here. This is actually the way Sean Taylor taught me. So instead of yawing like this, that loses speed. You want to try and keep the flags in view. As you can see with my stick cam, I'm using mainly roll, a little bit of yaw, and pitch in order to keep it in sight. A good way to practice them is to just do what I'm doing here, where you basically just go back and forth. Now, if you guys don't have flags to practice with, you can also use ground elements. Here I have a little bit of rebar that's just sticking out of the ground. You can use that as a way to practice. But essentially, you don't want to over-exaggerate your turns like this. That's just slowing the quad down way too much, and you're blowing out your turns. You want to try and keep your objects in view. So it's a little bit of roll, yaw coordination, as well as just little blips of power. Your pitch is going to stay about the same. That's kind of just the way to practice these slaloms. If you enter a slalom with too much speed, you're going to have to air brake like that in order to slow it down, and that's just not good. You're losing time. So a better way to do that, if you're going in from it with a lot of speed, air brake from the start, and in turn, you can make up for it in the slalom speed. Now, if you don't really have a choice or enough time to air brake, you can just roll into it really quickly, but you have to be careful because if your rates aren't high enough, you're going to end up bouncing into the flag. So you can try and keep the flag in view. As you can see, I didn't quite make that last flag. That's why it's so important when you're doing a slalom. When you're doing a slalom, it is just incredibly important to keep the flags in view and don't lose sight of them like that. Keep the flags in view. Don't worry about trying to go through it fast. If you need to go through it fast, you can power through it once you get used to it like this. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that little tip series there on slaloms. Slaloms are something that's going to take a lot of practice, definitely in understanding how much power your quad has, as well as the rates in your quad. Go out and practice and find some ground elements, some trees, some gates, whatever it takes to slalom around. If you can find some brave people who are willing to slalom around, do that. And whatever it takes to get it done. Slaloms are something that can really make a bigger difference in a race between winning and losing. If you can get through a slalom fast without blowing out the flags, you can beat the rest of your competition. It's one of the most critical race elements there is, and one element that a lot of people don't know how to fine tune and finesse. So guys, I hope this helped you guys. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment down below what you thought, any more questions you have, what you'd like to see in the future, and check out the links in the description to all the gear used in this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.